It's the Full Court Press with Eric Frandsen and Jason Walker.
Welcome back to the to the show that we're doing right now.
Following the local teams, breaking down the biggest games with in-depth analysis and team interview. Join the show by calling into 435-752-1069 or text 435-339-0321. It's the Full Court Press.
Throws, answer, yes! Caught! Touchdown! They did it!
Good afternoon, everybody. Welcome on in. It's another edition of the Full Court Press. Eric Frandsen, Jason Walker, here on 106.9 FM, 1390 AM, streaming on 1069thefan.com and on the 1069 The Fan mobile app. Lots of different ways to listen. You can participate, chime in, give us your score prediction for Utah State versus Robert Morris on the Full Court Press text line, 435-339-0321. We'll also talk about Utah State soccer. Big matchup against Utah last night. Utah State volleyball. They've got some big games starting on their season, getting underway this week. And we had a great conversation with Coach Rob Nielsen earlier in the week, if you want to go back and listen to that. And we'll also give you our pick six. We'll try to predict what will happen this weekend. But we will break early here on the show as we will join a national broadcast for the, I believe it's Compass Media Networks who produces these games, but it's going to be...
You should know, you signed a contract.
Well, it wasn't me. I'm not the program director of the station. That was Will that did that. But nonetheless, it's going to be North Carolina at Minnesota. I understand there's been some weather there. I haven't seen it in the last hour what it's looked like, but there was a threat of delay. But nonetheless, we're still going to break away a little bit earlier in the show to join that national broadcast is college football kicking off. Now, there was week 0 last week, and there were 4 games that took place. 3 of those 4 involved Mountain West Conference teams.
Yeah.
And there's some football tonight, as mentioned. And besides that game, though, there's some other games involving Mountain West teams or teams from our area, with San Jose State involved, taking on Sacramento State. And I believe the Spartans are only 1.5-point favorites in that one.
That's a little rough there for San Jose State. Not the greatest moment for Mountain West teams against FCS teams, because you have New Mexico literally losing. Hawaii won, and they won, 35-14, I want to say?
Yeah, they won with a 35-14, yeah.
Yeah. Yep. Of course, they were 40-point favorites, and they won by 21.
Nevada had a lead and then just totally
at least that was to an FBS team.
Yes, totally fell apart in the fourth quarter.
And they were 25-point dogs in that game, so they overperformed.
True.
So we'll give Nevada credit for that, even if noting the fact they probably should have won that game in the end. Given what happened during the game itself, not necessarily pre-game expectations. But yeah, and technically college football already started. We've got a bunch of games going on right now, none of them involving Mountain West teams, but that will end up happening. I think
the San Jose State game is at 8, and it's on True TV and Max, which is interesting.
Yeah, but we got University of Utah, one of the local teams in the state of Utah, playing Southern Utah, their opponent, hosting them, and they're also 40-point favorite.
7 o'clock tonight on ESPN Plus for that one. But speaking of the Utes, the Utah State Aggies have struggled getting wins over the Utes in soccer. And was it 7 straight?
Yeah, I believe it was 7 straight losses dating back to 2016. They'd been outscored 15-1 in those games. It made it a little bit closer during the Manny Martins era, where in 3 times they'd faced the Utes under Martins, they'd only lost by 1 on every occasion. Once it was 2-1, then a couple others it was 1-0, and 2 of those were actually at home. So even when Utah State was making its climb, as Manny Martins has built this program into a bit of a powerhouse, they still couldn't beat the Utes. Like in the same span where they lost to the Utes 3 times, BYU, the team that was ranked number 1 last year, has been to like 2 Sweet or like one or two Elite Eights and like a Sweet 16. Aside from that, like they've been in the NCAA tournament and deep in the NCAA tournament. Utah State has 2 wins against that BYU team. They have a winning record against a far better program than the Utes. Of course, the Utes are no slouches themselves. They've been a decent program in the Pac-12, now in the Big 12. But yeah, the Aggies just couldn't get over that hump, but they finally did. Down in Salt Lake City, in what was a good match. I was watching it.
Scoreless first half.
Yeah, scoreless in the first half. Both teams got a couple of chances. Utes nearly stole one in the literally dying seconds of the half. Like they missed a shot, and then the clock hit 0 after that. But then the Aggies managing to get on the board 58th minute. And it was a clinical play and clinical finish from the Aggies. Busy Arevalo taking a throw in, dribbling it down to the end line, and then she actually tried a cross, had it blocked, hustled to get to it, dumps it off basically right to the penalty spot, and Summer Diamond runs on it. And it's a shot that's so good and so, close and easy, like you'd get chided for practicing that in practice. You're like, when are you ever going to get that shot? But Summer Diamond runs up on it, and she has the entire frame of goal to play with, and she hit it so well she started celebrating before the ball went in because she knew it was absolutely flawless. Tucks it in on the left side, just inside the post. No goalkeeper had no chance, and that put the Aggies up 1-0.
And this is what it sounded like.
For the Aggies here. Although the Utes finding some traction on the offensive end. Good throw sent in. Granger. Ball sent in and finishes. Summer Diamond puts it in the back of the net.
And that was the 58th minute?
Yeah, 58th minute, almost 59th minute, 57 minutes, 54 seconds. Officially, where Busy Arevalo gets the assist. Shades of her assist that she had in the first goal that was scored by Utah State against Texas Tech, although Tess Wirtz, I think, was on the other end of that kick. Of course, that goal was, that kind of broke things open for the Aggies a little bit, finally getting through what was a tough Utah defense, really making things difficult. But then 5 minutes later, you end up with kind of the surprise of the match from the Aggies.
Olsen to throw. Finds Day just wide open. Sends one into the box. It's got good air. And it scores! Oh my goodness.
Again, just too much time. She was...
Well, see, she sent that, and it just lofted. Rainbow shot from 30, 40 yards out?
Yeah, it's hard for me to know exactly because she's like on the far sideline there, and she's, 20 yards away from like the top corner of the penalty box. So but a long ways away. Wasn't even really shooting because she was aiming for the back post. And I forget who it was that was maybe on the other side of it. I can't remember if it was Kaylee Chambers or someone else, but it was Alex Day. If you didn't hear that on the call, she was just lofting it in, trying to get to the back post. But it's one of those where sometimes you hit it across so perfectly, it just goes in the goal because she hit the inside of the left post. The goalkeeper it was a goalkeeper error kind of is how this goal came about because she goes up for last second thinking, oh, I should grab this, which she should have grabbed it out of the air from the go because the ball got put on frame and
right.
Goalkeeper should have just gone up and grabbed it, but she misplays it, bounces off the top inside part of the post and just rolls in on the other side. So it was an absolutely perfect shot, perhaps unintentionally so, from Alex Day, and she nets her first goal of the season.
Yeah, and just on the upper left-hand corner, there was hardly any other space where that ball could have gone. But they were able to put it in and get that second goal of the match. And ultimately, they were able to hold on after that.
Yeah, that was the margin. Utah really putting the pressure on in the end, similar to Texas Tech, where Utah State kind of just – they play a little more conservatively, and that's not a bad thing to do. Of course, they only end up allowing, I think, 5 total shots from the Utes. 6 total shots, 5 of those in the second half, so you can kind of see where that's Utah State. Pack it in a little bit. The other team's going to possess a little bit more. The other team's going to get a few shots, but only 3 shots on goal the entire game, and actually only one of those shots on goal by Utah was in the second half. So more shots, but no real quality chances for the Utes late, even though they possessed a little bit more as the Aggies were going conservative. And Shea Kircher-Pratt, the sophomore, I'm just going to go with sophomore because that's what they keep calling her.
Right.
So
Yep.
even though she was a redshirt last year as a freshman, so she gets her third shutout now of the season in her third straight start. And, the Aggies have yet to allow a goal this season. They've outscored their opponents 11-0.
Bonkers.
Yeah,
It's awesome.
At this same point last season, they had 5 goals as a team. All of those were in one game. They went 5-1 against Weber State in the season opener last year, and through 4 games, they still only had 5 goals. They have 11.
Very different scenario this year. By the way, USU Soccer sharing a photo of Sam Merrill, who was in attendance.
Yeah, him and his wife,
were there. But afterwards, courtesy of Utah State, sharing this on their social media accounts, Manny Martins talked about the win and beating Utah in Salt Lake City last night.
Well, I kind of knew that there was, we were going to have to ride out the fact that there was something new in the environment, right? We were ranked for the first time, and it took us a half to get used to it and just wear it. So we had probably a worst half of soccer we had was our first half, but the good thing is we still stayed true to our identity. I think they had one shot at the dying seconds, which was an error on our part. So I think once we got to halftime and realized that nothing changed with being ranked, we were able to be us in the second half, and it was a different game. And 2 great goals. We had players that their personalities started to come out again, and it was fantastic. It was exactly what we wanted to do. And really impressive. As much as I say that's part of our identity. We've been building this for 3 years now. This is going to year 4 now. It's still impressive because we're playing great competitors. And the thing is not just that we're not conceding goals. We're not really conceding many chances. But that's, credit to the players, credit to our staff. I mean, we have, Aaron that, our forwards are scoring because Aaron has put years of work into helping him work out the details. I mean, our goalkeepers are performing because of the work that Michelle does, and our backline is getting better also with the contributions of EE. So when you put all that together, plus the work that the players are doing, I mean, I'm enjoying it. I'm really enjoying it right now. No game's more important than the other. I mean, right now the most important game is the next one. However, the reality of it, when it comes to recruiting and also building the confidence of our team, being able to get good results in state, it just solidifies who we are and that we're here to stay. We're going to be competitive and we're going to compete for everything.
So there's Manny Martins after the game, after the win last night. Utah State taking down the University of Utah 2-0. And 19th ranked Utah State. The tour of Utah is just getting started.
Yeah, they're going to take a trip to basically every field in the state of Utah. Next up for them in Provo, they're going to take on BYU. Of course, the Cougars reeling a little bit.
Struggling right now.
At one point, they were ranked 3rd in the country. I think that was their preseason rank. They dropped one to 4th. After they beat a ranked team, they dropped to 4th. I don't know how that works. But then they tied to I suddenly forget who they tied with. But then they lost their first game of the season. Of course, it was to number 3 UCLA, so won't fault them for a loss, but they did lose. They've dropped all the way to number 16, so the Aggies, it's going to be a tough matchup, but it's a team that's coming off a loss, so they may be motivated to come back and defeat a ranked Aggies team, especially because the Aggies beat the Cougars last year. Although the Cougars got their revenge for that game in the tournament. So maybe they're not going to be gunning for revenge, but they'll be wanting to rebound from a tough loss against a really good opponent and a bit of a struggling start to the season for them. It's the team that had a lot of expectations, but they're 1-1-1 through 3 or 4 games for them. So it'll still be a tough game for the Aggies, and they'll have to play their best.
Alex Day also spoke after the win last night. She scored a goal, had herself a day at the University of Utah. Yes, she had herself a day. So we'll hear from Alex next.
This team is honestly amazing. The girls on it are beautiful human beings and also great soccer players. I think we're all very talented. We're connect on the field very well, and I'm excited for what is to come. First half, we didn't come out as well as we could have, but the second half we definitely came out stronger. Our press was a lot better. So it was a throw-in. The other team was not really paying attention, so I saw an opportunity for a quick restart, and Kylie Olsen threw me a perfectly amazing ball to my feet. I took a touch, I bent it, back post, and it was in, and I was so happy.
That was, both of those scorers for Utah State came off of throw-ins, like shortly after throwing the ball into play.
Yeah, Alex's was just kind of a spur of the moment. She plays one in the back post. It's really fun. It'd almost be nice to do like a video breakdown, because the one with the Summer Diamond was perfect because it was a throw-in perfectly in front of Busy Arevalo to where she didn't even have to take a touch initially off the throw-in. Gets it in stride. Yeah, takes it in stride, going downhill into the box, and then it sucked all the defenders down in basically to the 6-yard box. And you had 4 defenders covering, 2 people in the box plus Busy, who had the ball on the wing. And then Summer Diamond was just kind of all alone. She was at the top of the box, and I think Busy just kind of happened to look up and just, kind of happened to see Summer at the top of the box, just dumps it off, again, right to basically the center of the box there. And the closest defender to Summer as she was running up to it was like 5 or 6 feet in a couple of different directions. But
right, she had a lot of space.
All the space in the world. Like I said, the way she got to run up to it, she had the entire frame of goal to play with. And you dream of that situation as a scorer. And she absolutely took advantage of it. Like, I don't know if she could have placed that ball any better. She could. There's a wide margin of error for her, and she still didn't take any of it. She slid it right into the perfect spot.
And she spoke, and I don't know who she was speaking with, but
I think just the SID there.
Yeah, they're media people, and they shared that on social media last night as well.
I think first half, we obviously played pretty well. I just think it wasn't up to the standard that we wanted it to be, so we went into halftime, worked out a few things, and second half went out rolling, and it was awesome. Got 2 goals, so pumped. Yeah, I think everyone's just high pressure and then winning the ball. Busy obviously beat like 2 defenders. Great ball back. It's my role to get to the top of the box there, wide open, and when she plays a perfect ball like that, all you got to do is tap it in, so it worked out perfectly. So when you grow up in Utah and you're looking at these schools and wanting to play college someday, you dream of this environment of rivalries and stuff, so getting the win is amazing and it feels great, and to do it with the team is the best thing ever. So
yeah, exciting win, and Summers had a great year here, start to the season for Utah State with several big key goals in Hawaii, and surely she's been a factor in almost every game so far this season.
Yeah, 3 goals on the season, only behind Tess Wirtz, who has 4 for the Aggies. So, and those are 2 like her. She was a freshman last year and was playing a big role in the offense. Now as a sophomore, her and Tess Wirtz, I think, are going to be kind of your 2 leading goal scorers for the most part this season, and both are off to a fantastic start where I think both of them have met or just about exceeded their entire goal scoring totals from last year. I think Tess Wirtz had 3 last year, and I think Summer had 4. I think I'd have to double check that, but yeah, they've exceeded basically all of what they've done last season, and we're 4 games in. So great stuff there.
All right, got to take a break here on the Full Court Press, but when we come back, pick 6. We'll try to predict what will happen this weekend. I have 3 lines. Jason has 3. We'll throw in a tiebreaker, just an extra point to see what happens this weekend. Next, here on the Full Court Press.
Now here's a concept. You earmark 1/3 of your profits to go back into the community, to local charities. Dex Imaging does that. My name is Anthony Wagoner, and I'd like to share with you what I know about Dex, the company that acquired Valley Office Systems. Dex Imaging is committed to continuing quality customer service while raising the bar to become a strong community partner. Join us in creating the brightest image for tomorrow. Contact us at deximaging.com.
This is Brent Wallace with Cache Valley Bank, and we understand that concerns about fraud can weigh heavily on you. Your peace of mind is important to us. That's why we're committed to looking out for you and your family. Our team keeps a vigilant eye on your account, and if you ever have concerns or need support, we're just a call or visit away. Whether you need advice or just someone to talk to, our friendly staff is ready to help. We're more than just a bank. We're your neighbors, and we care about your security. Visit your local branch today. Cache Valley Bank, member FDIC.
This is Jay with Daryl's Appliance. We have some great Labor Day specials, including up to 40% off a wide selection of top-of-the-line appliances. Your favorite brands, including Whirlpool, Maytag, GE, KitchenAid, and more. On top of these massive discounts, we're throwing in exclusive rebates to make your savings even sweeter. It's a double whammy of value. Hurry in and celebrate Labor Day with fantastic savings for a limited time. Service always comes first at Daryl's, west on Airport Road, open until 6 p.m. on weekdays, 5 on Saturday.
Interviews, analysis, and a little bit of fun mixed in. The Full Court Press on Sports Talk Radio, 106.9 FM, 1390 AM. The Fan.
Crystal Vision has glasses that will fit your style, and they have the professionals that make sure that not only is your prescription right, but that the glasses look right on you. So stop in today with your prescription. Let Crystal Vision fit your glasses to your style. They're located on 14th North in Logan by Sportsman's Warehouse. So, yeah, big game coming up on Saturday for Utah State, getting the season started. Utah State versus Robert Morris. And we try to predict what will happen on the weekends. We like to call it Pick Six. I have 6 lines. Jason has 6 lines.
3 lines.
Oh, excuse me, 3 lines. The total 6 altogether. And then a PAT for good measure. And try to predict what will happen this upcoming weekend.
I bet you $20 I can get you gambling before the end of the day. No way.
It's the Full Court Press Pick 6.
Ever since March Madness ended, I am so bored.
6 things we think will happen this weekend.
I don't know how the whole betting thing started, but it's fun.
That whole line about being bored ever since March Madness is over, I feel like that's very true for me. Or at least it's more like after Portal Madness is over, because that keeps me entertained.
Portal Madness is maddening. Yes.
That's true. It is actual madness.
Yes.
In an almost negative way.
All right. I won last week, so I'm going to defer. I'm going to have you go first, Jason.
All right. Okay, so here are my lines. Explosive plays by Utah State against Robert Morris, which I'm going to go by the definition that kind of their stat broadcast uses, which I think is 15 yards on a pass play, 10 yards for a run play. I'm going to have to double-check what that is.
I was going to ask you how you define explosive.
I'm going to use the stat broadcast definition, and I'll double-check what it is. But
because
basically,
my understanding was a 20-yard pass play and a 15-yard run play.
Maybe let's go with that. Let's go with that. 20-yard pass, 15-yard run. That's the definition of an explosive play.
Okay.
So I set the line at 10.5.
For Utah State.
For Utah State.
I'm going to take the over.
I'm going to take the under.
Okay.
All right, and then Utah State soccer going up against BYU on Saturday. Combined goals for both teams, 2.5.
Ooh. I'll take the over.
I'm going to take the under. Take the under again. I think we're at a low-scoring one. And then Utah State and San Jose State are both playing FCS teams this weekend. Which team will score more points, Utah State or San Jose State, in their respective games?
Utah State.
I'm going to go Utah State as well. All right, Eric, now to you.
Okay, Spencer Petras. I mentioned this last hour, what I think his passing game will look like. So Spencer Petras, passing yards. I'm going to split it right down the middle of what I said. So I'm going to set the line here at 225.5.
I'm going to say under.
Okay, I'll take the over. Shutouts involving Region 11 football teams Friday night. 1.5.
I'm going to say under.
I will take the over. And then shutouts involving Mountain West teams this weekend.
Under.
2.5.
Just under. Shutouts don't happen in college football very often, Eric.
I'm going to take the over.
3+ shutouts involving Mountain West teams.
Doesn't mean that a Mountain West team doesn't score. It could be their opponent who doesn't score.
Yeah, I know what you mean.
It's a shutout involved in the game.
And I took that into account on the high school side, too.
Okay.
Still taking the under.
Still taking the under. Okay.
Right, and you got a tiebreaker.
Oh, yes. Tiebreaker.
I have one. If I have a backup if you want to use that as a tiebreaker. Or did you have one?
I had one. So home runs, combined home runs in the Yankees-Cardinals series this weekend. Setting the line at 5.5.
I'm going to say over.
Okay, I'll take the under.
All right.
I mean, Aaron Judge might get that himself.
I know. That's basically what I thought. I was like, it's like Aaron Judge is going to get like 2 of those.
Yeah,
so,
probably.
So I was just like, I think the rest of everyone can get 3 or 4. So
hey, that's going to do it for us here on the Full Court Press shortened show today. We've got college football that we're going to be joining the broadcast for the North Carolina Tar Heels at Minnesota Gophers. And we'll have a lot of college football and NFL games broadcast here on The Fan starting, it started last week. We've had some preseason NFL games here on this station. But we'll break away a little bit early for that. But we'll be back tomorrow and continue to get your predictions as we get closer to game day for Utah State on 106.9 The Fan.